From our State House studio in Montgomery, I'm Todd Stacy. Welcome to Capitol Journal. The legislature will soon be back in session. After taking spring break last week, the House and Senate will reconvene tomorrow for the home stretch of this regular session. Lawmakers have just 7 more legislative days to meet, which they are likely to spread out over the next 2 or 3 weeks. How quickly they move is still unknown. We'll know more after the House and Senate caucus meetings tomorrow. In any case, the proverbial plate is full, with many outstanding items left to address. At the top of that list are the budgets. The education budget is in a Senate committee on Wednesday. The $8.1 billion spending plan would be a record for the state, with significant investments in first-class pre-K, the Alabama Reading Initiative, and a new program aimed at improving math learning. A few changes are expected to be made to the budget, including salary structures for teachers. Currently, pay increases are built into teachers' salaries every 3 years. Lawmakers have discussed making that more frequent in order to offer more competitive teacher salaries. If advanced, the education budget could be in a position for final passage as soon as Thursday, though next week is more likely. Meanwhile, the general fund budget has been sent to a conference committee to work out differences between the House and Senate. Lawmakers in the two chambers have generally agreed about the most provisions in the $2.7 billion budget, but a final report could happen any day now. We are likely to hear more on the issue of gambling this week and whether or not 2 competing proposals have any chance of passing. One bill in the Senate allows for a lottery, expanded casino gambling, and sports betting, and then another in the House only allows for a lottery. Both bills face long odds with so little time remaining. The House on Tuesday is scheduled to take up Senate Bill 220 from Senator Arthur Orr. The bill aims to improve the state's lagging math scores by targeting more resources to struggling schools, deploying math coaches to help teachers, and holding schools more accountable for continued failure to improve. Another bill moving late in the session is House Bill 50 from Representative Rolanda Hollis. It aims to confront what advocates call period poverty by ensuring that girls in Title I schools have access to free feminine hygiene products. That bill has passed the House and is in a Senate committee Tuesday morning. Well, with so much legislation moving across so little time, things can get pretty hectic in the State House and get chippy between lawmakers. That only increases when the stakes are higher in an election year. House Speaker Mac McCutcheon said House and Senate leadership have been working on a plan for a smooth interaction between the chambers in these final days.
The Senate leadership and House leadership has worked very well together from day one, and we have accomplished a lot. I mean, you'd stop to look, here we are with 7 days left in the session, and we've already got conference committees set up on the general fund, and the education budget is going well in the Senate. So we're working very good together, and we're moving good together. But members work very hard. They've got their bills, and when you get into those last couple of weeks of a session, they want to know, where's my bill? Does it have a chance? How much time do we have left? Is the Senate, doing their part? The Senate wants to know, is the House doing its part? And these are normal discussions that we need to have.
Finally, an item we weren't able to cover late last week, Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall was on Capitol Hill in Washington testifying in opposition to President Joe Biden's nomination of Ketanji Brown Jackson for the Supreme Court. Marshall's objections were over victims' rights and Jackson's record on those related issues.
Upon the President's announcement of Judge Jackson's nomination, one supporter, an executive director of an influential progressive group that supports defunding the police, pronounced, "We're in a moment where there's been an active movement to reform our broken criminal justice system. This appointment signals the administration's commitment to pursuing criminal justice reform at the highest level. Though I strongly disagree with the assessment that our criminal justice system is broken, I share his observation that this appointment may well be intended by this administration to initiate a transformation of our criminal justice system, or as Judge Jackson has described it, a fundamental redesign of our system. And as we know from history, the United States Supreme Court can absolutely transform criminal justice for better or for worse. The Senate must now do its due diligence to ensure that the ideology of the anti-incarceration and anti-police movement, views that the Biden administration seemingly has increasingly embraced, is never permitted to make its way onto our Supreme Court.
The testimony got heated at times as Senator Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island attempted to paint Marshall into a corner of supporting the January 6th riot. Marshall condemned the violence multiple times, but also would not say that Joe Biden is duly elected as president.
Is Joseph R. Biden of Delaware the duly elected and lawfully serving president of the United States of America?
He is the president of this country.
Is he the duly elected and lawfully serving president of the United States?
He is the president of our country.
Are you answering that, omitting the language duly elected and lawfully serving purposefully?
I'm answering the question, he is the president of the United States.
And you have no view as to whether he was duly elected or is lawfully serving?
I'm telling you, he's the president of the United States.
We'll be right back.
You can watch past episodes of Capital Journal online at video.aptv.org. Capital Journal episodes are also available on APTV's free mobile app. You can also connect with Capital Journal and link to past episodes on Capital Journal's Facebook page. And you can listen to past episodes of Capital Journal when you're driving or on the go with Capital Journal podcasts. Keep up with what's happening with Capital Journal.
Like the more famous outlaw Jesse James, Lamar County native Reuben Houston Burrow, better known as Rube Burrow, headed a gang of train robbers that included his younger brother Jim and that made off with thousands of dollars. The outlaws worked from Texas to Alabama. A number of legends have grown up around Burrow as the Alabama Robin Hood because he allegedly never robbed the poor.
Next, I'm joined by Jonathan Archer, Chief of the Driver License Division at the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency. Chief, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
Tell our audience a little bit more about your background and what you do in your position at ALEA.
Absolutely, yes. I am the Chief of the Driver's License Division at ALEA. My background, I've been in law enforcement for about 17 years, and I've been a part of the Driver's License Division for the last 4 years. I was born and raised in Mobile County and relocated here to Central Alabama about 10 years ago.
Now, I wanted to have you on because I understand that we're getting ready to undertake a pretty significant transition in the Driver License Division. In fact, there's some extra money for it here in the State House and the General Fund budget. It has to do with a transition in the system that we use for driver's licenses. Walk me through what this change will mean.
Absolutely, yeah. About 2 years ago, my office undertook a project at the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency to modernize the driver's license system. The current system that our customers use, our employees use, is from 2004. And I always relate to folks that's very old in the world of technology. So we wanted to modernize the driver's license system. So there's an entire software system that had to be installed. We had to move all the data, everyone's information from their driver's license over into our new system. And of course, your driver's license is very important, and a number of agencies and entities use that information. So we had to make sure that those interfaces were updated as well as the hardware, which is the computers that the customers may see my examiners or their county partners, employees using to do driver's license transactions. Those computers are from 2015, so those are over 7 years old. So it was time to modernize all of our operations at the Driver's License Division, and we are ever appreciative to the members who have funded this project to make sure that we are going to meet our deadline April 26, 2022.
Now, I understand this also means, like you said, the moving of hardware will require the closure of offices. So what does that mean for folks out there?
Yes, absolutely. The closure, in order to facilitate the changing of all the hardware, we have approximately, I have 76 offices, driver's license offices across the state, plus every county licensing official has a driver's license workstation in maybe their county building. All of that hardware has to be replaced. So in order to facilitate that, we have to shut everything down for 1 week, April 18th through the 22nd. We've sent out about 10,000 notices to impacted customers, mostly folks that's maybe their driver's license expires that week. And we want to go ahead and remind them, you don't have to wait till that week to renew your driver's license. You can go online today and renew your driver's license and not be impacted all by this closure. So we won't be able to service any customers or issue any credentials the 18th through the 22nd. There won't be anything online that they'll be able to do. Right now, you can do online renewals of your driver's license. That service has to be turned off so that we can not only move all of the data over to the new system, but also install all the hardware. It's about 260 sites we have to get to across the state to replace hardware. So it's going to take a monumental effort by our agency to accomplish this goal and to minimize the impact on the public. We do want to make sure that customers are aware for their anyone that would like to get a skills test, or what you and I know is a road test.
Okay.
If you have a child that is turning 16 that week, you will be able to come to our offices and complete the road test. You won't be able to be issued your driver's license that day, but we are going to still be able to service those customers if they're coming just for a skills test. It's same as our commercial drivers, those skills tests to get a commercial driver's license. We'll be able to do those during that week, but that'll be the only two services we'll be able to offer. We won't be able to issue a star ID, or if you've recently moved to Alabama and you need to transfer into Alabama your out-of-state driver's license, those customers they'll be able to be serviced the next week.
I see. You mentioned the gap in technology. I think you said 2004. Pretty sure that's pre-iPhone.
Yes.
So I imagine there are upgrades in the technology that maybe we can take advantage of.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of new online services. You're right that it's a very old software suite that we're using now. Modernizing it, going through this process and this project is going to allow us to offer a number of online services we've never been able to do in the past. Currently, right now, you can, of course, renew your driver's license or get a duplicate online. Going forward, you'll be able to update your address online. By statute, you're required to update your driver's license address with us anytime you move. That's always a challenge because right now that's a paper process or an office visit. Going forward, you'll be able to do that online, and if you want to buy a new driver's license or ID card, you'll be able to do that online as well, all at the same time. So you won't need to visit a county office or one of my offices. You'll be able to pre-apply for your Alabama driver's license. So for that 15-year-old who's never had is getting their permit, or that out-of-state person, you'll be able to go online using an iPhone or a smartphone and pre-apply. So you'll be able to fill out all that information that my staff spends time typing in, and so it will save time in the office for them to process it, so you can pre-apply. We do offer appointments already in about 20 plus locations across the state, so that'll be an online service that will continue. Another big one is online reinstatement. Reinstatement is the process one goes through after you've lost your driving privileges. So let's say you've gotten a few tickets, or maybe you had a points fight and you've lost your driving privileges by suspension by statute. And right now that's a manual process where you have to go and clear up your problems with your court that issued you citations. Then you bring us what we call clearance letters. That entire process will be able to be done online, which will also, again, I'm hoping to try to limit people having to come into offices. So that's a big one. For our commercial operators, your commercial driver's license, you'll be able to submit your DOT medical card. If you have family members who are in the commercial driving business, they understand that's an annual process where you have to mail in, and This way they'll be able to submit that online, and then my staff will review it and get it added to the record so that they don't lose their commercial driving privileges. Same as TSA background checks. Those are required for commercial drivers that carry hazardous materials. They'll be able to check the status of that. There'll be a lot of new online services we're offering with our new driver's license system.
While I've got you, I know that some time back there was a lot of criticism for ALEA closing driver's license offices, particularly in those rural areas, those areas that service a lot of minority residents. Has that been resolved? I think that was about 6 or 7 years ago.
Yes, absolutely. It has been resolved, but that were a number of lessons learned. So we've made sure that going forward with this closure, that we inform the public. We have done quite a bit of outreach through press releases. We'll be holding public comment periods, so concerned citizens can call in and speak directly with my office to voice concerns about the closures. The closures will be statewide. The closures in 15 were targeted at specific areas of the state. This one will be a statewide closure. It will affect every office equally. We have tried to limit it as much as possible, and to give public notice that, if you can get service before the closure, please go ahead and come in. A lot of people don't realize that you can renew your driver's license 180 days before it expires. You don't have to wait till your birthday or around that time. You can go on and get that out of the way, so you don't have to worry about it. We are very mindful of that. So, and I know I was recently asked about is the fees changing, and the price of a driver's license is not going up because of this project or any of that nature. That was another product in 2015 when that closure occurred. There was an increase in fees, but no, they'll still be $36.25 for your Alabama driver's license.
Okay, well, I'm up for a renewal this year and a change of address, so I look forward to doing that online. But the question is, can I still have the same picture that I was when I was 25?
I would encourage you to come in. We're getting new cameras. The cameras are much better now, and they're not going to have a flash. They're not going to blind you anymore. So everything about the process has been modernized. We're super excited about it.
Well, thanks for coming in and sharing this valuable information.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back.
You can watch past episodes of Capitol Journal online anytime at Alabama Public Television's website, aptv.org. Click on the Online Video tab on the main page. You can also connect with Capitol Journal and link to past episodes on Capitol Journal's Facebook page.
Next, I'm pleased to be joined by Judge Gene Brown, Commissioner of the Alabama Department of Senior Services. Judge, thanks for coming on Capitol Journal.
It is my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Could you tell us more about your role and what the Department of Senior Services does for Alabama?
Sure. Thank you for that question. The Department of Senior Services is here to serve not only senior adults, but disabled Alabamians as well. We offer many services such as prescription drug coverage under Senior RX, Senior Medicare Patrol to help prevent Medicare fraud, just a wide variety of services for Alabamians.
One reason I wanted to have you on the show this week is last week the governor signed into law a bill that creates an elder abuse registry. Now this would be a registry of those who have been convicted of abuse against the elderly. Tell me why this is so important.
Well, first of all, this makes us a national leader. As far as I understand it, Alabama is the first state in the nation to have this kind of registry. And it includes not only people who have been convicted of elder abuse, but if you've had a protective order issued against you for elder abuse or a DHR finding of elder abuse, you will be listed on that registry. And the wonderful thing is it now requires direct service providers and hospitals and nursing homes, once the act becomes effective, they will have to check the list in the registry to make sure not only current employees, but future employees are not listed as an offender of that type.
So if I am running a nursing home and I'm looking for staff, I have to do basically a background check and make sure that this staff I've hired has not had a history of abusing the elderly.
Right. I mean, it's not only future employees, but current staff as well.
Okay. Well, that does sound important. Also, you recently helped implement the first elder abuse center, a physical center there in Shelby County. I believe it's also the first of its kind. Walk me through what this would do.
Okay, this will be the first of its kind in the state, and to my knowledge, there are only about 16 in the entire nation. So again, as with the Elder Abuse Registry, this will make Alabama a leader in protecting our senior adults who suffer from abuse.
And so this is a physical location where someone who is experiencing abuse can seek shelter and refuge.
Right, it's a temporary emergency shelter, and it's opened not only to the people of Shelby County and the surrounding areas, but anyone in the state. That is the plan for the shelter.
Do you think we might see more of these centers open up?
That's a great question, because as soon as the story of the Shelby County facility became public, within a day I had a call from a legislator who wanted to know all about it, and he told me he wanted one in his area. So I think we could very well see them spread, and this is to be a model for the state, and they're already working to do one in Walker County. So yes.
I would imagine some of these involve leveraging state dollars with also local funds. Is that the case? It's not just completely state funded or completely federal funded?
No, there are a number of federal grants, and I can tell you M4A is the area agency on aging that had the vision for this in Alabama, and they are applying for all kinds of federal and private, state grants, anything they can find to help make this dream come true.
I've got to say, it's hard to imagine the mindset of someone who would abuse someone vulnerable, like children, like the elderly. You've been a judge. You were on the Supreme Court here in Alabama, the Court of Criminal Appeals. You've been in different roles in law enforcement, including in the Attorney General's office. So you understand law enforcement. How important is it to prosecute those who and make an example of those who would abuse the elderly?
Well, I think you said it well. We have to let people know who would treat senior adults this way, that we're coming after them, not me personally, but law enforcement, Department of Human Resources, and they will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I can't imagine what goes on in the mind of someone who would physically abuse a senior adult, emotionally abuse a senior adult, or steal financial resources. But last year alone in Alabama, over 11,000 cases were reported to DHR. And we know for every one case reported, there are about 23 cases that are never reported. And 1 in 10 senior adults is an abuse victim. And if you suffer from dementia, it's 1 out of every 2, 50%. Are abuse victims.
Wow. Is there a website for your agency that folks at home can go and check out all you're doing?
Yes, it's alabamaageline.gov, and you can see all of our programs, whether you need help with respite care for care providers or any other service that pertains to senior adults and disabled Alabamians. It's all there, and you can call our number. It's AgeLine, 800 AgeLine, and we will direct you to your county if you need local services.
Now, I also understand that your department runs the Senior Citizens Hall of Fame, and there may be some deadlines coming up.
That's right. It's the Senior Citizens Hall of Fame, and nominations can be made until May 1st. That is the deadline.
So they can go on the website?
They can. You can get a form. It's fillable online, or if you like, you can print it and then mail it in.
Now, who might want to be eligible? Who might be eligible for the Senior Citizens Hall of Fame?
Okay, this is a ceremony and an award that recognizes people 60 years and older who've made an outstanding contribution to improving the lives of senior adults in Alabama.
Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see who gets named to the Hall of Fame. Commissioner, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you. Okay.
We'll be right back.
You can watch past episodes of Capital Journal online at video.aptv.org. Capital Journal episodes are also available on APTV's free mobile app. You can also connect with Capital Journal and link to past episodes on Capital Journal's Facebook page. And you can listen to past episodes of Capital Journal when you're driving or on the go with Capital Journal podcasts.
Singer Wilson Pickett was renowned as an energetic and intense performer. The Prattville native gained international fame with such hits as Land of a Thousand Dances and In the Midnight Hour, and became one of the biggest music stars of the 1960s and 70s. He remains one of the most unique and significant artists of the soul music era. Atlantic Records producer Jerry Wexler encouraged Pickett to record at Stax Records in Memphis, merging the gospel roots of Pickett's vocals with the strutting, layered rhythms of the Stax musicians. Pickett soon was topping the R&B charts and crossing over to the pop charts. In early 1966, Wexler took Pickett to Fame Studios in Muscle Shoals, which had built a reputation as a versatile source of hit records. He and the Muscle Shoals Swampers recorded celebratory hard-driving hits such as Land of a Thousand Dances and Mustang Sally. Wilson Pickett was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1991.
That's our show for tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow here on APT and also on our podcast with more coverage of the legislative session. For our Capital Journal team, I'm Todd Stacy. We'll see you next time.